Okay, all right, now I'm psyched. I got all the parts. Took a few days, but we got them. I am a YouTube star. You pretend, right?
You want to go for a ride?
I am. You're going to place.
That's a nice man bun.
I am often offended. I'll use Uber.
One of them I was able to get through Amazon. Still a genuine Traxxas part. And the other two, which are the wheelie bar assembly, I got directly from Traxxas. And that was all very exciting. So now we get to move forward with putting back together the little basher guy. This is my Stampede that has been such a good basher for me. I've taken apart the old pieces, the parts that are broken, and because the new parts do not come with the screws, we get to reuse. And I wanted to show you guys what I did to the body. I did some reinforcing. It was totally broken out here. And what I did was I put some of those plastic spacer, body spacer discs there, and used some hot glue to glue them to the body. And I did some reinforcing on the underside as well. The underside where they were totally blown out. You can see that I mounted a couple of discs in place. I opened up those holes so that it fits the mounting pegs better. You can see the reinforcement inside here on the corners. Over here, the body itself was coming apart, cracked apart, broke apart. So we reinforced that on the underside, and we reinforced it on the outside as well. So looking forward to seeing if these things hold up. We'll know the next time we have our next bash session. So that's kind of cool. Now I'm going to spare you guys the tediousness, and we're going to fast forward through all this good stuff. So just stick around and bear with me, and we will get to the finished product. So I did discover that this part did come with some hardware, which is nice. We'll have some new screws to use. That was this item. I also noticed that the wheelie bar mount comes with light mounts, so that'll be cool. That'll give me something else to spend some money on. But I've never had rear lights on the little Stampede before, so that's going to be kind of cool. This is obviously this is a newer part than the originals. The original parts probably, I think, going on about 7 years now. So these newer parts, Traxxas has added some more bells and whistles. So that's going to be kind of cool. Let's put the skid plate on, shall we? Why not? Always helps to use the correct size driver. I sure do appreciate some comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I noticed my first mistake. Okay, so now let's take this off because I have to mount this piece to this piece via these screw holes first before I put this on. So let's try this again, shall we? Again, using the old screws for this part. A lot of you guys out there, if you're still watching, if you're still with me, if you are still with me, thanks, by the way. Many of you actually enjoy the turning of the screws and the putting the parts together and the modifications and the customization and whatnot. And for me, personally, I'd just rather be out there playing. This is the part that the turning of the screws and whatnot I find to be quite tedious, which is why I fast forward through most of this stuff. But it has to be done in order for things to work correctly. So thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you're getting some enjoyment out of this. But as you can see, this part has to go here, and the screws go in there before this gets mounted to the frame. I've seen some of you guys with power drivers, and I would pull out the old DeWalt power drill if I were so inclined, but I decided, nah, we'll just do her by hand. Some of you might ask at some point in time, Eric, do you use thread lock on your screws? And when I'm putting screws into plastic parts, the answer is no. If I was screwing into metal, then yes, I would use some thread lock. But for this particular project, none is needed. Okay, now we can do what we did, except this time we can do it correctly. How about that? So now let's attach this, shall we? All right, why not? And now here we are after discovering my second mistake in my whole life. This part does not go attached to this part. No, no, no. In fact, this part is what attaches to that part. So we are going to get that worked out the way it's supposed to be, and we'll get it done right. See, this is why you guys don't come to Fun with Eric for the details. This is why you just come to Fun with Eric for the fun. I'm not going to teach you guys how to put together RC cars or anything like that, because you know what? I'd have to take you through all of my mistakes, show you that I'm human. But I was only half wrong, because this part does need to be attached It just doesn't need to be attached where I originally said it did. So I get half credit. Now let's just go forward and hope that we're going in the right direction. How about that? I mentioned thread locker, and now I suspect that I may have stripped the hole that this screw goes in, so I am going to add a little bit of thread locker to that. Okay, so instead of thread locker, I have opted for some super glue. Let's see how that works, shall we? Well, all right, if you actually watch this video, that means you like this stuff, so don't forget to like the video, share the video with everybody that you possibly can, and I sure do appreciate some comments. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Just a little bit now. And set those notifications so that YouTube will let you know next time I put out another video. I always have to remind myself, these screws only want to be RC tight, not monkey tight, because otherwise I strip the hole. All right, now let's see, where are we with the next part? So this wants to go in here somehow, and I think I may have made my third mistake of my entire life right here on this video, because I should not have tightened that. Okay, don't tell anyone. You saw Eric being kind of like a human. Okay, so we pulled these screws, we got this all backed out, and we were able to put that part in its place correctly. So we can move forward once again. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on this. Just a little dabble do ya. So if you guys have to do some type of parts replacement for your RC car, be sure that you take pictures beforehand so you know how everything goes together before you take everything apart. This is actually a wheel bar, but I really only use it as a bumper because I'm a really terrible driver, as many of you have seen. So I guess I'm not such a bad driver, I'm a bad lander. It's like I always say, it's not the flying part that hurts, it's the landing. So let's see if we can get this thing finalized, shall we? So this is going to attach like so, and I will be able to use new screws for that was supplied with that particular part. So that's cool. Are you guys still with me? I appreciate it. You guys rock. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, like, and share all my videos. And be sure to set those notifications so that you will know every time I put out another video. I do appreciate the support. Remember, just RC tight, not monkey tight. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Obviously, this comes with different positions that you can mount this to this, but I like to keep it way up here out of the way. I use it as a bumper, and eventually I will probably wind up putting some baling wire back on it so that it stays. So every time I land on it, it pops right out. So I do believe we've got the wheelie bar mounted. All right, so now let's move on to the light replacement, shall we? Okay, so the old light assembly took some damage and the wires got broken. and it wouldn't have been too difficult for me to fix with a soldering iron, but I would have to buy a soldering iron. So, because I don't have one at the moment, I just decided to drop another 15 bucks on a new light kit. So it's the same one, same model, and all of the older mounting brackets and whatnot, and the parts that attach to the ESC, they're fine, they're tip-top. So I'm just gonna have to use the new parts that I need to replace, and I'm gonna reuse the old parts that are fine, and I'm going to hold on to this light assembly because someday in the not too distant future, I may actually have a soldering iron that I can put to use. So for now, we're just going to pop these little guys in where they belong. See if I can do it without breaking anything. It's always a plus. They should just snap in place. Okay, they popped right in. Now let's mount them. So there's a couple of spots right here behind the bumper that this light kit mounts right onto. 2 screws is all it takes. And you do have to remove the top part of the shocks in order to access those screws. So we did that, and forward we go. I am going to reinforce the backside of those lights where the wires are attached, just because I know they will also take some abuse, and I kind of want to get ahead of the curve on this one and hopefully prevent a future disconnect. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share all my videos. I do appreciate the support. If you want to help me out, one of the best things you can do is leave some comments. Let me know what you think. So let's connect it and test it and see if we can call it a success. A little bracket in here. I don't know if you can see that from where you are, but it's right in there. And this connection clips right in there. So once we get that in there, then we will test it. So there is also this little doohickey thingamajiggy, which needs to go on top of all these wires and hold the whole thing in place. So we'll put that on, and then we will test. Oh yeah. All right, so now that we know they work, go ahead and put those shocks back in place, and we'll do some reinforcing around the wires here, and we'll show you the finished product. Don't forget, if it says Eric Certified, you know it was fun with Eric. So I decided to go with hot glue back here instead of the baling wire. It looks a little better than baling wire, I think. And I don't know how well it's going to work, but we're going to find out as soon as I get out there and run into a brick wall. And I wanted to show you how I modified this slightly. I put this reinforcing piece of metal that actually comes from one of these box cutters, and that is there to give this a little more integrity as I mount the camera in that position, because that, when I'm doing my first person view shots, that's where the camera mounts. And so this should work nicely. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to find out the truth of how well the modifications worked once we get out there and we do some bashing. If you have any questions about anything that I've done here in this video, or if you have any comments about how I could have done it better, let me know. Oh, and one last thing, remember that You have a couple of choices in this digital world of social media. You either feed the algorithm or feed the soul. Go have a great day. Holy jeez Louise. If you're still here, you should seriously consider getting some help. But before you do that, be sure to subscribe and leave me some comments and like and share all of my videos. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for being here. Now get out of here and go have a great day. Forward we go.